Miss Worth here again. Missing you guys. Wishing I could see your faces. We are going to start with something different this week. The biggest thing I want to say to you is if you're having trouble at all in the last couple weeks, or if you think that I'm moving too fast, have any questions, please let me know. I have a lot of students that have turned stuff in, I have some that haven't, but I haven't had too many questions or comments. So again, if I'm moving too fast, if you need a week to catch up, or if you want a review on anything, I'm totally fine with that. I'm used to being in class and being able to see your faces and letting your faces let me know whether we need to kind of step back for a minute and review or what we're going to do. So this week we're going to work on interest. I guess I have a supervisor this week too, as usual, that's helping me. So if you have any questions, please just send them to me. Like I said, this week we are working on interest. Remember, our formula with interest, which I've worked on with most of you, is I equals PRT. Again, I always tell you, don't tell the principal that it's I per T. But there's many different ways to party, all right? Whether it's with your cat, which I don't even know where she went at this, she's out partying on her own, running around the basement, or the ducks, or the horses, or whatever. Even in your house right now, maybe playing Monopoly, playing Nintendo, all that kind of stuff. Nintendo is kind of old school, I guess. I show my age a little bit. But it is an easy way to remember this, okay? And the only thing we're going to focus on this week is our I solving for. So, remember, we were talking about I equals PRT. I is our interest. Whether it's a loan, which most of the time is what we talk about, a loan, we owe more money on top of that. Remember, the bank's very nice to offer you some money, but we owe more money on top of that. Or sometimes we've also talked about having a savings account, and you gain interest on top of that. So there's two different ways with interest. Unfortunately, most of the time it's the extra money that we owe, but sometimes it might be the money that we earn also. Remember, P. Okay, this is where we have a tough time. P is our principal. We're not talking about Mr. Davis, okay? We're talking about principal. Some people also call it price, which I'm fine with. Some of you like to refer to it as price. Your principal is always going to be the money amount, no matter what it is, okay? So it's either our principal or our price. Again, it's always the money amount, okay? R is considered our rate. Our rate is always going to be a percentage, no matter what, okay? So rate is percentage. You're coming to the bank of Miss Worth, and you're asking to borrow $500. So say, yep, I'll give you $500 right now, but at a rate of 3%, okay? Which means you owe 3% back to me on top of each month, basically, or depends on, we're looking at simple interest right now. T is your time. The biggest thing I'm going to tell you right now that we're looking at is time in years. It's always going to be in years, or we always have to transfer it to years, okay? So, if you look, and the biggest thing I want to say too, I think I mentioned this last week, I do some examples with you. I'm not expecting you to necessarily turn those in. Those are to help you. I want you to do the practice problems, okay? So if you look at, and I kind of condense this, but if you look at after, there's a certain thing that says practice. So I want you to do the practice problems. Those are what you have to turn in. But if we look at our examples, again, the examples are things that I do to help you. First thing it says is Samantha took a loan out at Key Bank for $7,500 at a rate of 9.75% for 3 years. How much interest did she accumulate over the 3-year period? If the interest is calculated using simple interest formula. We're talking about simple interest. Don't get too involved, okay? So again, Samantha's taking out a loan. We know whenever we have to take out a loan, not only do we have to pay back our loan, but we have to pay back the interest on top of it. The only thing we're solving for right now is our interest. How much extra do we owe on top of our loan? So again, we're going to use our formula, I equals PRT. Okay? And we're going to plug it in. Do we know how much interest right now? No, that's what we're solving for. How much extra do we owe on top of it? So I equals, P is our principal or our price. It's always going to be your money. How much did she borrow here? She borrowed $7,500. So that's what I'm going to put in there. Okay? R is our rate or our percent. Okay? What percentage or what rate did they allow us to take this loan out at? Well, they allowed us to do it at 9.75%. However, you should remember we can never multiply by a percent. I won't sing this week, but we know in order to multiply, we have to change it to a decimal. So we're going to move this to the left, to the left. So I see this as 0.0975% when I change it. Okay? So again, times 0.0975%. And then I multiply it by my time, my years. How many years did she take this loan out for? She took it out for 3 years. So I multiply it by 3. I will tell you, if you type all these 3 numbers in your calculator together, it's completely fine. Okay? Remember, whether you multiply 5 times 10 or 10 times 5, you get the same answer. So you can multiply all 3 together. When I multiplied, I got an interest of $2,193.75. All right? Don't forget your dollar sign unless you want to get paid in bananas. It's a lot of bananas. So, again, we're just solving for interest. All of our problems that we're looking at right now is just looking at the interest. So that's the extra amount of money she owes on top of her loan. Next week, we will get into looking at our total loan payment and our monthly. But right now, we just want to know the interest. Okay? Let's move on to number 2. Number 2, it says, Hillary plans to open a CD with an interest of 1.3% for 15 years. If she opens a CD with $5,000, how much interest will Hillary make in 15 years? Okay? So then, here we're looking at how much she's making. It's kind of like, a CD is kind of like a savings account in a way. She's making interest on top of that. Again, you're only solving for interest, so you're good. So we're going to use our formula I equals P or D. I have party with cats and ducks and horses. Okay? The thing that we're solving for is our interest. P is our principal or our price. Okay? How much money is she necessarily putting in? Again, it's always going to be a money amount. So we have our $5,000. R is our rate, our percent. Okay? How much are they offering us? Here it's 1.3%, which is about average right now, I would say. Okay? So then, we cannot multiply by a percent. We have to change that to a decimal. To the left, to the left. So that as a decimal, I'm going to put that 0 in there, just like I did before. 0.013. Remember, we've talked about it multiple times. Do you have to put that 0 in the front? No, not necessarily. Does it make it easier? Yes, I think so. And then T is our time in years. Okay? We have 15 years. I keep saying years for a reason. You'll see that later. But times 15. Okay? I have my 3 important information, so I'm going to multiply all of those 3 together. Once I multiply those, I know my interest is $975. Okay? So you can see the 2 difference between these 2 problems. Here's the extra amount that I owe. Here's some that I will make. Again, we're just looking at interest, so it's okay if you don't understand that yet. All right, let me erase quick. The next 2 are important, and I'll actually help you with the last 2 on the practice problems I give you. So Hopefully I did not want to erase all that, but I did. So I want to take a minute and look at those. Okay? Member I, let's see if I can write on this, is our interest. P is our principal, or price. R is our rate or percent, and T is our time in years. Okay? So let's look at number 3 really quick. Okay? Number 3, it says you deposit $5,000 into an account that earns. So you're earning 7.5% simple interest. How much interest will be in the account after 3 years? We've kind of talked about this in some of our classes, the difference between a checking account and a savings account. It's smart to put some money in a savings account if you can, because you make extra money on top of that. So we know we deposit. So our P is 5,000, or we deposit 5,000. Okay? We know that our rate is 7.5%. That should be a point. And we know that our time, again, in years, is 3 years. Okay? So we can plug that into our formula. And now our formula, and you should write this for everyone. I equals P times R times T. We're solving for interest, we don't know that yet, so we're going to keep our I. Our principal or our price, we're depositing $5,000. Our rate is 7.5%. Remember, we can never multiply by a percent. To the left, to the left. Everything you own in the box to the left. So 0.05. I'm sorry, 0.075. And then our time. We make sure it's in years, which it is. It's in 3 years. Okay? I have my 3 components that I need. I multiply them together. And when I multiplied, I got my interest that I'm going to make off of this, which is amazing, right? Is $1,125. Do not forget your units. Like I said in the first one, unless you want to get paid in bananas. Alright? If you want to get paid in bananas, you can come to me because bananas are less than $1. So I'll pay it. Number 4. Okay, you keep wondering why I say in years. We're getting to that. Number 4. To buy a laptop computer, Elaine borrowed $2,000 for 36 months. Okay? So we agree that our principal or our price is $2,000. Okay? And we also agree that our time in reading this, because the time comes first, is 36 months. And then it goes on to say at an annual simple interest rate of 5%. So our rate is 5%. Okay, maybe I should have written time here instead of just D. So again, we have our 3 basics. We have to plug this into our formula. Okay? I equals P or P. Alright? I don't know my interest yet. That's what I'm solving for, so I'm going to keep that. My principal or my price, we know, is $2,000. I know that my rate is 5%, but I can't multiply by percent, so I'm going to the left, 0.05. Okay? 0.05. And I know I have to multiply by my time, but it says my time in years. Right here I have 36 months, which I can translate into years. How many months are in 1 year? I'm pretty sure there's 12. So if I want to change this to years, I can just divide by 12, can't I? 12 months in a year. So when I divide, I actually get that this is 3 years. Which should make sense. 3 times 12 is 36. Okay? So any question that it gives you in months, just divide your months by 12 to figure out how many years you have. So I'm going to multiply that by 3, or 3 years. Again, I have my 3 components. I'm going to multiply those. When I multiply those, I got $300. Okay? So again, with any of these, if I'm moving too quick, going too much, take your time. Let me know if you want to go back and review anything. Also, if you need to pause any video at any time to look at an example or look at a question, or if you have any questions, please ask. Again, as I say all the time, I miss you guys, but I really do. I want to get back into our classroom, and I hope to see you guys soon. Have a good week.